let's get to the latest results from MicroStrategy. The enterprise software maker, which you probably know is the largest publicly traded holder of Bitcoin, returned to profitability in the second quarter. And I'm pleased to say that joining us now is MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor. Michael, great to have you with us. If I look at MicroStrategy's total Bitcoin holdings right now, currently stands at nearly 153,000 Bitcoin. Nearly 500 of that came just since June 30th. When you think about the Bitcoin acquiring strategy, what might that number total in the quarters to come?
Well, our goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as we can on behalf of our shareholders. And, we acquired from cash flows. We bought that last tranche with $14.4 million worth of company cash. We also use equity and debt issuances from time to time. So we try to make sure that everything we do is always accretive. So we will acquire as much Bitcoin as we can as long as market conditions allow us to do it in a creative way for our common stock shareholders.
Well, it was interesting that we also saw an 8K come out after the earnings report yesterday, which seems like a way to really tap into the rally that we've seen in the shares so far this year. I believe MicroStrategy up over 200%. What's the plan there? What will you use that theoretically for if you do sell shares?
Our primary use of proceeds generally is just to acquire Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is up 145% since August 10th of 2023, years ago when we started on the strategy. And we've pursued a strategy of levered Bitcoin investments. So we use cheap capital. Our average cost of capital is like 1.6% or something in that range. And the combination of leverage and then offering our shareholders a yield. We don't charge them a fee to manage this Bitcoin. We actually aim to generate a yield. That's allowed us to actually generate 254% performance in the same time that Bitcoin was up 145%. So our strategy is sort of levered long, offer a yield, don't charge a fee, and then actively manage our position and actively manage acquisitions and financings between equity, debt, and cash flows in order to get the best result for our shareholders.
So for those shareholders, for those investors, the attractiveness of that strategy, does it change at all, Michael, if you do get a much larger ecosystem of ETFs and other investable crypto products?
Well, I think a spot ETF would be ideal for the market. A spot ETF will allow large hedge funds and sovereigns to come into the space with billions and billions of dollars and track the asset. MicroStrategy doesn't charge a fee, and we actively manage the business to generate a yield, and we use leverage, and we can actually tap into leverage because we're an operating company that an ETF couldn't do. So we view it as being really beneficial to the entire ecosystem. We don't have a capital structure that would allow for tens of billions of dollars to be invested in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So we're a unique instrument. We're that sports car. And the ETFs, the spot ETF is going to be like super tanker.
And we'll see if that crosses the line. Of course, there's been many attempts made before, but I do want to go into what's happening in MicroStrategy shares because I just checked year to date up 186%, so not quite 200%. But you compare that to what Bitcoin has done in 2023. Bitcoin is only up 75%. The fact that MicroStrategy has rallied so much more than Bitcoin itself, how do you explain that? And unfortunately, we only have about 30 seconds left.
Well, Bitcoin is the house everybody wants, but it's in a foreign country, and you have to pay cash to buy it. It takes about a year, and you can't rent it and mortgage it. MicroStrategy is that same house in the best neighborhood with 10,000 acres of ranch land attached to it, and we can generate a yield, and you can actually buy it financed by your local bank, right? We're a compliant security. So if you're an institutional investor and you're looking for an easy way to get Bitcoin exposure that doesn't charge you a fee, that is financeable, that is good collateral, then MicroStrategy is pretty compelling right now. And I think that it's important to point out that we will always be differentiated from the ETFs because they can never offer leverage. They have no yield. They have limited hedging options. They're not diversified, and they charge a fee.